Hiya. It's former Deputy Prime Minister, proud Northerner from a working class background, basic instinct enthusiast and still fourth sexiest woman in the UK according to a BBC poll, and I am not resigning from that position, Angela Rayner, and welcome to another no-brainer with Angela Rayner. Well, it's been a very busy week for us Labours since last week's budget. We've had a lot of backlash from it and a bit of fallout from it, but in the end the right result happened because Richard Hughes, the chief of the OBR, has resigned his position. He's taken full responsibility for the leak and he has resigned, which was defo the right thing to do. But of course the far right adjacent media can't help themselves, can they? They've got to start asking why our Rachel hasn't resigned yet. Well, she's not resigned yet because we've not changed the settings to resign, so you can wind your necks in on that. But we have changed the settings to shaking your head in disbelief, which is what we thought would be the best settings for today's PMQs, because we thought that the British public could defo relate to that, and she was shaking away in PMQs. It worked really, really well. I'll tell you what else worked really, really well in PMQs was our new Us Labour's talking points. We've got a couple of new ones to add to the usual 14 years of Tory failure, etc. And they are child poverty, or rather lifting children out of poverty. Who can possibly disagree with wanting millions and millions of children to be lifted out of poverty? If you disagree with that, then you are a disgusting human being and probably extremely far right adjacent. So we think that that is defo the way forward. I know we've not really mentioned it much in the past year or so, but we just feel now is the most important time after the budget to talk about child poverty and lifting children out of poverty with the free breakfast clubs, free dinners, and just encouraging people, now we've lifted the 2-child benefit cap, to have happy families. Just be happy with your family. Don't worry about money. We've got you covered. Well, the British taxpayers got you covered. You just focus on loving your family, feeding your children and being happy and not worried about poverty. And when you're ready, you can think about maybe getting a job and maybe potentially possibly going back into the world of work. So for those saying this is the benefits budget, this is the benefits street budget, how disgusting is that? It's not the benefits street budget. We are the party of the worker, and those are work adjacent people. They are working class adjacent. That there's nothing wrong with that. That is the situation that they are in, and one day they will think about, maybe in the future, potentially, possibly, maybe think about getting a job, and if they do, we will be fully supporting that for them. To look down on them is just snobbery. It's absolutely disgusting, but that's what you would expect from, that's what you lot do, isn't it? Now, the other talking point that we were very happy to start using was, of course, whenever anyone stands up and says that small business owners aren't very happy with the changes that have been made by our Rachel and Us Labours, we come back with, actually, we've spoken to small business owners and it's been broadly welcomed. We found it's been broadly welcomed, which is a brilliant talking point, and it shuts down the criticism straight away. Now, speaking of criticism, our Tulip has really been through it. She's had a very tough time of it. She used to be our anti-corruption minister, but she had to step down from her position earlier in the year because she was charged with corruption in Bangladesh, and that was very, very upsetting for her because she defo didn't do anything corrupt, and she thinks it's absolutely disgusting. Well, she's now been found guilty of corruption and sentenced to 2 years in prison in Bangladesh, and she's not going because she knows that she's absolutely baffled by this decision. She doesn't recognise it. It's a kangaroo court. It's a court with just a judge, no jury, just a judge making dangerous decisions, a judge by themselves with their own opinions and ideas about things and their own politics, making a judgment based on one person, and it is absolutely disgusting. So we've just said to her, we fully back you, we support everything, we support you, just maybe don't go on your holidays to Bangladesh in case you have a bit of bother getting back home. Just maybe leave it and just ignore them because they're talking absolute nonsense. But you know, our David has also had a very difficult week of criticism because he's had to take a difficult decision to scrap jury trials because he feels as though we don't really need them. We trust our judges and we think that they are defo going to make the right decision, and we've got a 14-year Tory backlog to get through, and the best thing to do is to just scrap the jury. It doesn't matter what it says in the Magna Carta, because at the end of the day we've got to move with the times. We've got to move on from the Magna Carta. Was lovely and that was very good. I've not read it. It's brilliant though. I think it's good, but we need to move on. We need to move forward. We need to get with more modern times, and that's very old. So the best thing to do is just scrap juries and go with a judge, because what could possibly go wrong? If you've done something wrong and you go in front of a judge will defo know what to do. There's so many examples of that lately. We feel as though that is the best thing to do, but of course everyone's going to slag him off for it, like Robert Jenrick, who showed up to Parliament and was so unbelievably rude and patronising to our David. He congratulated him for showing up, suggesting that whenever anything goes wrong, our David is nowhere to be seen. Well, our David is very busy. He can't always show up for everything. He's got a lot going on. There's a lot of things to deal with. We've just had to announce that 12 more people have been accidentally released from prison, and 2 of them we still haven't found yet. So it's been very, very difficult. But to suggest that our David never shows up to talk about these things is absolutely disgusting. He called him Lammy Dodger. Lammy Dodger! Are you having a laugh? Lammy Dodger! That is absolutely disgusting. And probably racist as well. I don't know how, but it probably is. Absolutely. So condescending of him to talk to him like that. Couldn't believe it. But he stood his ground and he said, no, I'm not going to change my mind on this. We do not need to have jury trials. It's all your fault. Everything is the fault of the Tories. And this is why we've got to make the decisions that we've got to make. But you know something? It doesn't matter what people say, and it doesn't matter what people do. Us Labours are going to continue to go from strength to strength. I'll see you again on another no-brainer with Angela Rayner.